Hey there gang, Kawaii50 here with another fake Grand Order video with face cam today, so you can see my horrendous stack of Gunpla in the background. Oh god, I've actually got to start working on those. And I wanted to talk about something, so I was taking a ganderino at the stuff going on right now in FGO. I'm like, oh yeah, Valentine's 2024, heck yeah, Andromeda looks great, super amazing design, absolutely love it. Now, I gotta wonder though, where are we at with the story? Okay, so Paper Moon came out June 18th, 2023. Okay, it's February 12th right now, my birthday by the way, just a little sliding that in there. And yeah, that's a solid amount of time between story chapters. So okay, Paper Moon. Nahui Miklon, let's see. January 31st, 2023, the last part of that came out. Alright, so we're looking at what, like a 4-month gap there in the story. All right, it's a little while. Not as crazy as what we're dealing with right now, but you know. And then before that was Tunguska Sanctuary, December 22nd, 2021. Like like a whole year. Listen, gang, we gotta have a talk. Look, okay. Like and subscribe, by the way, if you like the video. I am not one of those people that constantly makes negative videos in any sort of capacity. Those of you who have watched my streams and watched my videos before know I like to try to stay positive and share joy rather than spread negativity. In fact, I kind of feel like those YouTubers out there who only post negative stuff every single second of every single day are some of the laziest people in the content creation sphere, but that's a discussion for another video or another time. But we do have to address this elephant in the room with FGO, and that is the fact that it is taking a very, very long time for story to come through. And normally I wouldn't be so worried about that. Normally FGO in general, I mean, it's a good story. I'm having a great time. I enjoyed Avalon LaFay, it was great. Tunguska was okay. There's plenty of things I'm looking forward to in Lost Belt 7 as well. But the problem is that the sphere that FGO occupies here has changed. It has really, really changed. Back in the day, there was what, for if you wanted a crazy good gacha game story on your phone that was entirely free. There was like FGO and Grand Blue. I think that was it. I can't really think of anything else that would have been a solid competitor. Everything else was basically a licensed game or like Clash of Clans or something like that. But now we're kind of looking at a different market, a different area that FGO is occupying. Is FGO going well and it's not going anywhere anytime soon? This is entirely true. FGO continues to make a ton of money, and anyone who says FGO is dying either isn't looking at the numbers that it's pulling or just doesn't want to look at the numbers that it's pulling. FGO overall is doing fine. But the problem we're running into right now is there is really good competition right now. It has never been a better time to jump into the gacha gaming sphere. We've got stuff like Genshin and Star Rail. Blue Archive is pulling in a ton of people, and it's very, very enjoyable. We've got Arknights as well. There's a lot of really good stuff out there, and Grand Blue is still going strong on top of that, seeing a sort of resurgence in the console gaming sphere. Came out with one of my actual favorite fighting game of last year, and Relink seems like it's doing numbers. I gotta hop on that train as well. The problem we run into is when there is so much competition, it comes down to, well, we gotta adapt, or we've got to, we're just going to run into a situation where interest might start to dwindle. I've been seeing people, and granted, this is anecdotal evidence at best. Do not take this as a trend. But I've seen people that are like, I love FGO. I enjoy FGO. I have a ton of characters I super duper love. And it's just we're hitting this point where it's just so long to see any sort of substantial main story going forward. Yeah, we've got events, which are cool. We used to have reruns. That really isn't so much of a thing anymore, but Lasingle might be backpedaling on that. But we're kind of at this point where I'm just waiting so long for another story bit to come out that I've completely forgotten what happened in the previous story. And now I need to go ahead and check a recap and do all of this stuff to try to make sure I remember the context of what's going on so I can go into the next story entirely prepared. And you can't leave people waiting that long forever. We're starting to see an uptick in at least some capacity. The push between Nahui Mictlan and Paper Moon was not nearly as bad as between Tunguska and Nahui Mictlan. There was quite a huge gap, and I get it. I understand. There was a pandemic, in case you are completely forgetting and have blanked out that entire moment of your life. People, stuff was impacted. It's just the way it is. That's why we had such a packed and crazy 2023 gaming year, is everything that would have come out sooner because of COVID got pushed back. But the problem this presented is it ended up leaving a lot of people like, I don't know. There's not really a lot for me to do on FGO, and ooh, a new shiny game has popped out. I'm going to start playing that new shiny game as well. Well, now new shiny game is not operating off of nearly decade-old game mechanics. New shiny game looks better, runs better, overall is just a polished, almost console-like experience. And so maybe now new shiny game is the thing I'm playing most. I'm not ashamed to admit it myself. I play significantly more Honkai Star Rail at this point than I do Fate Grand Order. It's just not that I don't like FGO. I'm not anywhere close to quitting, if you were wondering that. And even if I did quit, I wouldn't make it like a spectacle like when people quit Twitter. I would just not play the game. I would just not make videos for it. The end, done. I still deeply enjoy the game. I still love many facets of the game. I love rereading the story. I love my characters. I'm still leveling my Barghest to 120. But I would be incorrect to not admit that Star Rail is very appealing. Games like Star Rail, games like Genshin, like Blue Archive, like Arknights, they all feel new. They feel different. They feel better in a lot of aspects. And while FGO is absolutely going to be carrying it on its writing, it doesn't really carry it on gameplay. People are here for the writing. They're here for the story. That is the main reason they are plugging away at this game. And while they're starting to do things that are mechanically interesting and things I really like to see with servants like Bazette and all of that stuff going forward, it's the story. It's the story that people are mainly here for. And when you have such a long gap between your story, it causes people to be disinterested. And if you run into disinterest, you run into people not spending as much on banners, you run into people not, participating as much in events, and that can lead to people overall checking out. Do I think FGO is going to go anywhere before it finishes what it set out to do with the story? Absolutely not. We're going to be plowing, we finished Lost Belt 7, we're plowing through all of Ordeal Call, that is all going to happen, we are going to hit a solid conclusion. But once we hit that conclusion, the question then becomes, is it reasonable for FGO to continue? Should FGO continue after Ordeal Call? Or maybe is it time for FGO to bow out? Maybe is it time for there to be a new Fate franchise game set in this sphere? Maybe something more akin to Samurai Remnant. Maybe something more akin, we're keeping the turn-based, but maybe we go into something like, Star Rail out there. Bringing up Star Rail again is just the best, most recent example I have. Maybe we get some sort of exploratory thing like Genshin, just something in general that is a little more updated, something that feels more like a console game in today's sphere. And I'm thinking about it more and more as the story goes on, as the gaps between the story, especially now on NA, are very, very long. We're not getting Lost Belt 7 until the end of this year, and it is February, so we've got quite a long time to wait. I'm just wondering, after Ordeal Call, should there be a reason for FGO to continue? Should there be a story reason for it to continue? Or is it time maybe to just move on to something new, reset the slate, go for our servants again, and start a brand new Fate adventure? But I want to know what you all think. Let me know your thoughts down in the comments section below. Let me know what you would like to see if there was a new Fate game, or let me know if you do think FGO should really continue after Ordeal Call is done? Where would we go? What would we do? What would you like to see? What improvements would you like to see to both the story and the game? And are you fine with the huge gap in story chapters in FGO? Let me know down in the comments. Anyways, gang, this is it for me, Kawaii50. I hope you all have a phenomenal day, and I'll see you all in the next one.